haven't seen Carlton since getting back to Shanghai. He hasn't spoken to me or his parents. I don't think he's ready to talk to anyone yet.
He'll talk to you, Rachel. And I know where he is. He's in the presidential suite at the Portman Ritz-Carlton. That's where he always hides out. Will you go and see him for me? Please?
I can't do that, Colette. I don't want to force Carlton into seeing me until he's ready. And I really don't think I should be getting in the middle of your relationship. Nothing I can say will make him stop feeling the way he wants to feel. You need to give him time to heal, and he needs to figure out for himself what he wants.
But he never knows what he wants. You have to tell him. I think the longer he broods about this, the more it will fester. Like his accident. He was already such a mess all the time when he was recovering from his accident. I don't want him to get into another mess in his head about this.
I don't know what to tell you, Colette. People are messy. Life gets messy. Things are not always going to work out perfectly just because you want them to.
That's not true. Things always end up working out for me.
Well then, I suppose you'll just have to trust that they will this time.
So, you're really not going to go over to the Portman?
I just don't see the point.
Oh, I get it. You don't want me to get back with Carlton, do you?
That's not true.
I see now. You want to punish me, don't you?
I don't understand.
You're still angry about what happened to you.
I'm not angry at you. I felt sad for you maybe, but I was never truly angry.
You felt sad for me?
Yes, I felt sad about the whole situation. That things would ever get to a point where Roxanne would feel the same.
How dare you feel sad for me? Who do you think you are?
I didn't mean it as an insult, Colette. I just meant...
I took pity on you, Rachel Chu. I thought, here is this poor, pathetic orphan girl from America. I paid for your meals. I invited you to my house. You flew on my plane. I paid for the whole damn Paris trip. I gave you special access to the most exclusive places in the world and introduced you to all my important friends, and you can't even do one small favor for me?
Colette, I think you're being unreasonable here. I am grateful for all the generosity you've shown Nick and me, but I just don't think it's my place to tell Colin to do anything.
You've never really been my friend, have you? I see you clearly now. In your cheap American clothes and your cheap little jewelry. Hi, I'm Diana. I'm an actress building my own path onto the world stage and bringing as many people as I can with me. What you just watched was a cold reading from this book, China Rich Girlfriend by Kevin Kwan. And it is specifically from page 468 to 469. And if you want to watch how it ends, you're going to have to go read the book. Get it. And, actually let some of your money remunerate the author for the energy that he put into creating this work. That was a very diplomatic way of saying buy it, but yes. And I want to share why I decided to do this cold reading, both from the actor's point of view and from a producer point of view. So, what you saw was something I originally posted on an Instagram account called Cover Acts. It is the first step in what I envision as an online actors community promoting independent scene study and good self-tape technique. Meaning that It is a community by actors for actors, helping each other get more jobs. Full stop. How does that work? Okay. By allowing us to choose and use monologues, books, material that inspires us in fair use way, yes, and showcase our types so that we're not kept in boxes, as actors, and we get to expand. That is actually a semi-actor and semi-producer perspective. The producing perspective comes in from, okay, how is this valuable to society and how is it going to make money? And not in a way of, okay, putting the money first, but actually how is that money going to fuel the art, right? And before I get into why I chose this section of this book, I'm going to complete that thought. Just lots of information going on in my head right now. And from an actor's point of view, who doesn't want to show their type, like their types, and who doesn't want to expand and let the rest of the world understand our craft, and audiences appreciate the effort that goes into the creation of characters and appreciate acting as an art form, which feeds back into my producer hat, right? Which is like, yes, we want audiences to appreciate the art form and go to cinemas and watch movies, and make more content and watch our content, So yes. Now, let's talk about the book, because I think you've waited long enough. Originally, when I picked up this book, I was doing research for a character that I was creating called Eva Wong. She is an outsider who disguises herself as an insider in order to access the good money, only to discover that wealth was within her all along. And so there are many themes at play there, but particularly around wealth and money and appearances, and how simply because a person appears a specific way does not mean that that is who they are. But at the same time, do we need to appear a certain way in order to access the good money, quote unquote, Yes. So she is a scholar who from mainland China, who came to Singapore and then went to the US and the UK, or the UK and the US. So she was a scholar the whole way through, and she learned to disguise herself amongst the upper class in Singapore. And that's why I felt one night, I was like, okay, the universe is telling me to pick up my mother's copy of this book. And I did. This book has become one of my favorite books, and actually out of the 3 in the series of Crazy Rich Asians, this is actually my favorite one. The reasons for that are actually quite personal and deep, and I hope you're ready. She has an evil laugh. Yeah. Okay. Here's why. Okay. So, I'm not sure if you noticed from the way I was talking earlier about acting and producing, but I have a very tech entrepreneurial systems thinking approach to life. That is because I spent about 8 to 9 years in the UK, and even after I left and moved back to Singapore, my hometown, I was still working for a British company for about 2 years. And actually I still have my talent visa. It's a tech talent visa. So I was trained as a computer scientist. And I only went down that road because I needed a way to independently have the resources I needed to become an actor professionally. Yeah. And well, okay. About 7 years into that time in the UK, in London, I was in London at that point, I realized a lot of things. I had so many epiphanies, and sorry, it's quite heavy actually, but I'm going to bring the light. I'm gonna bring the light, okay? Because these are the things that I want to do with my life, you know. For the longest time, I couldn't really... I've only finally begun to admit to people around me and the world that being an actor is my calling and my life's passion, and it has to be my first priority. And I only started doing that in January this year. And prior to that, you know, I kept looking for ways to, and for people and for opportunities to prove that it was what I was meant to do in the UK when I was there. And about 7 years into that, I started to do some really deep healing of my own. I was doing all the things. I was doing a lot of wellness stuff. A lot of my salary went into therapy, you know, healing from racism, healing from sexism, and a lot of these things that just happened, and after which I thought, if I'm going to put up with a lot of this stuff and do, you know, have all of these things, even working in tech, like, why am I not using my energy doing what I'm passionate about, which is acting and stories? And I realized that I needed to be in movies that can reach the right audiences that they are meant to reach around the world, to facilitate radical evolution and deep healing. And I began to trace my roots. You know, I was encouraged by quite a few of my friends of African descent to explore my roots and really embody that culture that I was broken from, I guess. Right? I mean, yes, like, I may look like a mainland Chinese person or a Taiwanese or a Korean, but those are actually, like, but I grew up as a Commonwealth citizen. Adopting the culture that we based off of the British education system. And that is why I have so much compassion for two characters in particular in this book. I'm gonna start crying. Colette and Kitty. Yes. In particular, I actually have a lot of compassion for Colette's character. I think that something happens to our collective psyche and our spirit when 8 other countries have to or decide to put aside their differences, because they were fighting with each other at different points in time. They put that aside and decided to join forces simply to take the wealth of one country, the country of my ancestors. And when those people, those human beings, chose to desecrate and leave the homes of the most powerful people who stood for not just centuries, thousands of years of dynasty, royalty and wealth and power in that in the country of my ancestors. When their homes are desecrated, something happens, to to our spirit. And as an actor, I feel so much compassion for that, and I really want to hold space for that. And I told you it was going to be deep. And also when people are hypocritical and choose to use a poisonous, toxic substance that is addictive to subjugate people from the culture of my ancestors and the country, and not even just my ancestors, right? Even in this country, in Singapore, we fell prey to that too, And finally, when thieves are too afraid to return stolen artifacts because they don't want to have nothing left, I think it says a lot about where we are at as humans. And, yes, we can say the personal is political, and at the same time, I want to look at this from a human perspective and be seen as a human being, right? First, we can talk about politics later. I don't really have a political opinion. I'm not an expert in that, so I'm an actress. Sorry. If you're coming here for a political commentary, sorry. I just know human beings and emotions. I'm not an expert in that. But I am gonna share, that is why I have so much compassion when people who look like me, and even me in the past, when we adopt behaviors and appearances from the colonizer simply to survive, and then are literally scrambling to find ways to thrive, no matter how brilliant and shiny and white gold that gilded cage is, it will never remove, it doesn't heal all of the things I mentioned earlier. It doesn't heal that. And it's so interesting to see, an example of what happens when people who look like me then adopt that very subversive behavior that colonizers used to subjugate us, to exert violence on people who it's internalized racism. I'm just gonna call it what it is, I think. And that is why I chose to do that cold reading. Yes, I'm a deep person. Welcome to my channel. On this channel, we're gonna be talking about acting and the art of acting and characters and stories and human beings and emotions and life and radical evolution. So I hope you enjoyed my take on this character, and please leave any constructive feedback, love, uplifting comments, questions, thoughts in the comment section below. And thank you so much for joining me on my acting journey. Stay tuned for more of my what is it? What are we sharing here? We're co-creating it as I speak. I decided that on YouTube, essentially what I want to do is share my love for acting, because I feel that that is the type of content that is appropriate for this community and this platform. So, anything else? Yes, final thing. Please subscribe to Cover Acts on Instagram. We are coming soon to TikTok. I have another brilliant actor in Singapore on board too. Yay! And we're going to be doing some great monologues and covers and sharing our love for acting together. And, well, I don't just have one actor, actually. I have quite a few actors interested. But I have one confirmed person that we have agreed to do the filming together, and I'm so excited because he's so talented and he has so much to offer, and he's fully committed to acting, and I love that. I realized whilst I was preparing for dinner that I hadn't given this video the wrap-up I wanted to, and so here it is. In closing, I want to thank Kevin Kwan for this beautiful China-rich universe of characters and conflict and drama, and even a whole Bible on how to fit into Hong Kong old money upper class society, which I love. So good. Must read. And I wish you and your producing partners at SK Global and Color Force, like Nina Jacobson and Brad Simpson, I wish all of you and your production teams all of the best. And I'm so excited to see how Colette evolves on screen. And thank you to all of the people who watched this video. I hope that you appreciate the depth that I've brought in some of my explanations of particularly why I resonate so much with these characters and their struggle, and I think I really love what Kitty is experiencing from a artistic perspective, not from a real life perspective. I love that the way that the dilemmas she's navigating are portrayed, and it's so fun as well. I love the fact that it's a lighthearted comedy because sometimes when life gets very heavy, you need some light to shine through. And so thank you for joining me on this journey, and I hope that you will stay tuned for more. I have so many more monologues and covers and tributes planned, and this is only part of the beginning. It's all unfolding as we speak and as we live, and I hope that this video and what I have shared has inspired you in some way to take the radical choice in life, to evolve as a human being and step into your authentic, most loving self today. Thank you. Yay!